to the Post Cafe. It is where artists comes alive. The spoken word brings forth the inner creations of hidden treasures, expressing tones of lyrics felt within the soul, a vibration that brings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artistic expression, and painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, for birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature, sing in harmony, pray for the love of the skies, and dance with the stars like a feminine ballerina, gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe show, Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCrae. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to engulf a new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started. This is Poetically Speaking, the place for the spoken word. And this is a time for us to come together and to really enjoy each other. Today's agenda is Take Back Your Mind, Mindset for Mental Health. And really the concept here is that we have so many things that are distracting us from really dealing with this particular world that it is today. Our mind is pulled in so many different directions, especially about all the media and the gossip and this and that type of thing. So what I'm suggesting today, that we take the time to take back our mind, to focus on the things that we really need to focus on. I once heard someone said that your attitude is very, very important. It says that your attitude determines your altitude, which means that the better your attitude, the higher you can rise in your success. And I truly believe that mindset is what we need to sort of focus ourselves and to focus our mind. And so again, we got to understand there's a lot going on in the world. And I know for myself personally, I used to watch hours and hours of news, and I stopped doing that. I'm very selective. I might watch 1 hour and then I'll do some reading, or I'll watch some YouTube programs that are not holding to their advertisers. Okay, they can speak freely because they're more independent, and from them I get a better sense of what's going on in the world. Because in final analysis, we have to be critical thinkers. We have to think for ourselves as opposed to having someone think for us and give to us what they think. Now we have to do our own research, and I hope that this program is part of your research. You know, I talk about this program, and I talk about the concept of edutainment, entertainment and education from KRS-One, rapper, philosopher, as I see it. And so again, we're entertaining, but we also hope to be educational. So again, in that respect, we have the quote of the day. And the quote of the day is, there are essentially two things that will make you wiser: the books you read and the people you meet. And this is from Charles Tremendous Jones. Two things: the books you read and the people you meet. Again, those are things to think about, especially when you talk about trying to take back your mind from all the foolishness out there. Take back your mind to a place where you can think for yourself. And so again, that's what we hope that this program is about. As always, and it always gives me great pleasure all the time, because I don't know what's going to jump off, because this man is truly amazing and truly creative. And so, as always, we begin this evening with Ron's poetry. Ron, what do you have for us this evening?
You know, it's interesting, even the topic of the day, which is so true and is important. There's a couple of things I like to read and in short. It might sound like I'm bouncing all over the place, but they tie in. They really have a very significant meaning that ties into who we are today, to our listeners as well as to ourselves. And I'd just like to give you what we always present to you: think and grow rich. think and grow rich. But here, let me write down, let me present to you a couple of notes, and then I'd like to read something. And before I do that, as we pretty much everyone knows that this weekend, Friday, was the 4th of July, Independence Day, as they call it, okay? And I'd like to show you this before I read it, by Frederick Douglass, you know, and as it's, you know, as we pretty much know, and those who have heard and have not, you know, what to a slave is the 4th of July. That's important. And I thought about that. And I got this book a while back, and I've been thinking about it, even in church today. And so here, what to a slave is the 4th of July. The little twist today is, as we know, the condition that this country is in. What to this country's condition is to us. Right. How are we benefiting from the condition today? So let me read this first, and then I want to read something that Frederick Douglass written in there. And so here's my thought today, for starters. Think and grow towards freedom. Think and grow towards freedom. Through tumultuous pain and strait, whip, rape every day from dusk to dawn, we sung our Lord's song, O Jerusalem, songs of Zion. Songs of Zion. And so here, this is what Frederick Douglass was saying when he said, when he wrote the book, What to a Slave is the 4th of July. So let me just start here. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought strife and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice. I must mourn. To drag a man unfettered into a grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems were inhumane, mockery, and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean citizens to mock me by asking me to speak to this day? If so, there is a parallel to your conduct, and let me warn you that it is dangerous to copy the example of a nation whose crime, lowing up to heaven, was thrown down by the breath of the Almighty, bearing that nation in irrecoverable ruins. I can today take up the plaintive lament of a pale and woe-smitten people. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hang our hearts upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required us to sing a song. And they who wasted us required us myriad, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. How can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. I said all that because it's important. That was back then. Back in the 1800s, I believe it was, or during that era. Look what our ancestors was going through. Look what we've been through, day and night, dawn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And yet, even till this day, the importance of today, not the 4th of July, but this very day, you know, the 6th of July, is for everyone to remember your legacy, your history, your ancestors, what they've been through, where they came from, and crying for freedom in a condition that you and I cannot begin to comprehend till this day. And yet, too many of us worry about this nation and your presidents and what they're doing. What are you doing to change and bring back remembrance of what your ancestors been through? They fought and died for freedom. Are you writing and reading and creating something? Are we coming together for freedom? That's the only way we're going to survive and to showcase our ancestors that we didn't lay down and die because we worried about somebody else's distraction. Frederick Douglass didn't, because he said, what to a slave is the 4th of July.
That's right.
When in fact, I'm in mourning. I'm being whipped and lynched and everything else. So how can I celebrate your independence? And unfortunately, sad as it is, let's call a spade a spade.
Wow.
Too many people today, and let's talk about the black folks, you celebrate the 4th of July, okay, freedom and jubilee and everything else. But did you stop to give thanks in remembrance of your ancestors, what they've been through and what they came through? And even as of this day, we still hear that our ancestors, our people, our brothers and sisters are still being whipped, lynched, in essence, mystically shot and choked to death. Think about it, people. What is the 4th of July to you and I today?
That's a good question, and we have some people who have tuned in. Dina Robinson says, "Happy Sunday, gentlemen. I'm here." Case Sweetness Jennings, great day, shalom, family. Dina, again, it was happy BBQ Day for me, because what's going on in the USA today isn't Independence Day for me, just my opinion. And like my brother just said, I mean, they tell us anything. But the thing is, we have to develop our critical thinking ability, because they say one thing and we do some research and we find out something else. They're trying to pass a bill that says that they won't cut Medicaid. But right in the bill, they're saying they're going to cut Medicaid. So who do you believe? What's being said or what is going on? Dina Robinson says, again, speak truth to power, brother Ron McCray. So, brother, you hit a nerve and what you're talking about. And so, again, please, it's about critical thinking. We have to think for ourselves. Like going back in the day, Frederick Douglass, he was such a great writer and such a great speaker. People thought that he was an actor pretending to be a slave, especially when he went on the abolitionist circuit and spoke at different meetings talking about the evils and the degradation of slavery. And they said, man, this guy is just amazing. He can't be really a slave. He has to be an actor. So again, when we speak truth to power, we speak truth coming from our experience. As Frederick Douglass said in his speech, what does the 4th of July mean to Black Americans? And again, we still have to think about that and talk about that.
You know, they fought, and even those conditions, they still became writers, inventors, and singing hymns and songs and whatnot,
right,
praying.
right.
Your hymn books in your Bible, whatever book you have, those hymns was pain, crying to God for their soul to keep, no matter how you look at it. But again, it didn't stop them. What's stopping you today to fulfill your dream and vision to bring to life? What's stopping you today? Not so much eating them barbecues and spare ribs and chicken, but the fact is, are you really celebrating and fellowshipping with your neighbors and friends? Are you inviting the kids like we used to do when we were young? Hey, y'all, come on over here. You want a hot dog or something?
Yeah.
What are we doing today to celebrate what is we believe to be our freedom? Not when they're taking out the education, the Black history in the books, schools, the Smithsonian Institute, and every place else. Slowly but surely, they're dismantling. Now, I don't know how many of y'all are asleep, but rest assured, the blinds are starting to close. Don't wake up and realize you can't see because you don't have no history and they're not teaching that in school. The president, your president today have said, and they're working on, they've been working on for the last several years. They're taking your Black history, and as you know, I think his name was DeSantis, or Governor of
Ron
Florida.
DeSantis. Yeah,
Right.
Ron DeSantis.
He said he started back then. Don't go to sleep. Write your history while you still can see, while you still have a pen you can put in your hand, while you still have paper. Because when the lights go out and you didn't stock up on some candles, guess what? Can you see at night? Or can you use your mind from the inside, let the light shine from the inside and inscribe on the walls that's all around you? And as I said before, Nathaniel Hawthorne said in the Scarlet Letter, if a man can't sit alone and dream strange things, he need not write romance. And he was sitting in a dark room. The only light he had was the light from the moon shining through one shadow on the wall. Think about it, people.
Yeah, think about it. Again, Kay Sweetness Jennings says, I no longer celebrate the 4th of July. I am woke. I take time to re-educate myself about Juneteenth. And again, one of the things, again, we realize that they're trying to dismantle the Department of Education. They're banning books in our libraries. But understand this, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, we still have our libraries. And I can't really stress enough that you visit your library. When we go to our segment, Mind, Body, and Books, a lot of books I bring from my personal library, but I still go to the library. As a matter of fact, 2 books that I have today are from the Rahway Public Library. I live in Rahway. And I said before, what we have to do, we have to actually increase our concept of literacy. You know, we have to develop the habit of literacy. And when I say literacy, it's not simply reading and writing. It's reading, writing, talking, listening, and viewing. Viewing a good DVD, watching a good TV show. And I also, when I talk about reading, I suggest that you read at least 2 books a week, a nonfiction book and a fiction book. And I have 2 recommendations. The first recommendation I have is a book here. It's called Uncommon Favor, Basketball, North Philly, My Mother, and the Life Lessons I Learned from All 3. And this is from Dawn Staley. And again, Dawn Staley is the NCAA National Championship winning head coach of the University of South Carolina Gamecocks women's basketball team, a 3-time Olympic gold medalist and a Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame inductee. She's from North Philadelphia. She's from North Philly, which means she can do anything. And in the book here is such a beautiful book because she talks about life lessons. And in the table of contents, she has like 13 life lessons. And lesson number 1, the disciplined person can do anything. Lesson number 2, hope is a ladder. Lesson number 3 is not where you start, is where you finish. Lesson number 4, you have to do what you don't want to do to get what you want. Lesson number 5, no one does it alone. Lesson number 6, people over process. Lesson number 7, know your worth. Lesson number 8, look, sound, feel. Lesson number 9, respect the power of habits. Lesson number 10, give what you have within. Lesson number 11, you're in the room for a reason. Now move it. Lesson number 12, God bats last. Lesson number 13, be kind to yourself. Okay, here, this is a nonfiction book presenting life lessons, and I'd say always that everybody has at least one book in you. This is Dawn Staley's book, and basically it is a book of remembrance, a memoir, but it's a book of life lessons. I highly recommend this book. That's my nonfiction book for this week. My fiction book is a thriller, and this is men who like, and women who like thriller action books. This is a book. And this book is entitled Capture or Kill, a Mitch Rapp novel by Don Bentley. Now, there's a very interesting history about this book and also about this series. This series, the Mitch Rapp series, was begun many, many years ago. And as a matter of fact, the gentleman who created the series, his name is Vince Flynn, and he died in 2013. And it says here, he created one of contemporary fiction's most popular heroes, CIA counterterrorist agent Mitch Rapp, featured in 13 of Flynn's acclaimed political thrillers. Okay? Now, I said that Vince Flynn died in 2013, but his character is still living on in this latest book. This book is 2025, and this book is written by Don Bentley, who is a New York Times bestselling author of multiple books and several series. And he's carrying on the legacy of Vince Flynn in this latest novel. So you see, you can create a character that lives long after your death. And so again, I share that with you because I want you to understand that although you may not have money to buy books, you can go to the library and get these books. These books are brand new right off the shelf. And it's so interesting, Ron. Now, what they do in the library, and it really sort of made me laugh, that when they, after you check out your books, they give you a printout. And I just want to share this with you. This is my latest trip to the library. I actually took out 4 books, and it says here, you just saved $118.97 by using your library. You have saved $997 this past year, and $3,023 since you began using the library. Now, again, if I had that money in my pocket, that would be even better. But my point is simply this, okay? Don't say that you can't become educated, because if you have a library card, that's your passport to higher education. It's nice to go to college. It's nice to go to other schools, but there is no excuse for you not to be educated where there is your local library. So I'm encouraging you to, if you don't have a library card, get yourself a library card and visit the library weekly. I know when I was raising my first family, every Saturday I would take my children to the library. And they would go to the library, they would get their books for the week, and then after the library, I would take them out to have a nice lunch. But the point I'm making to you is that we have the power within ourselves to educate ourselves and to really become critical thinkers, because in the final analysis, think, okay? It's not too late. Think, and don't be the type of person that you believe everything that you hear, because a lot of times sometimes we get false information. So I'm saying to you, read, become critical thinkers, and to think for yourself.
You know, along that same line, there's absolutely 100% no excuse if you don't make it to the library, and it's free. It's free. Every town has a library. And matter of fact, there's a lot of them just opened up and been renovated. That's one right. In Maplewood. That's right. Yeah. Roselle, no matter where you go. Yeah. But let me do better than that. You'll find a book in the trash. You can find a book on the street. Your neighbor has a book. Everybody has a book. I don't care if it's a children's book. Like he said, brother said, read. Get a book and read. Doesn't matter. Glance at it. Read the title. Read the author. Read the backstory. Read the whatever. You go shopping. You look in the mirror. You go to the store. You buy this, you buy that. But do you read a book? Do you read some of the books that's in some of these stores? No matter where you go. There's signs, there's billboards, all kind of writings, someplace. And last week I showed you a calendar. The kids, drew a picture. It didn't matter how they look. That's right, yeah. But you can read their story. I guarantee you, if any one of those kids behind that design that they created, they can write a little story. That's right. And so the point is, once it goes out to the public, you go by, you read, oh, that's so cute, that's so nice. But where is yours? Right. So the bottom line, and all jokes aside, there's books all over the world. The world was with books. We are born into one of the most scientific, most prolific, educational, wisdom, knowledge, whatever term you or however I express, the bottom line is read and grow rich.
That's right. And again, the interesting thing about that is that, the library is not just books. You can CDs, DVDs, or they have lectures, they have programs. And a lot of things that you can do. But the point that I want to make is that you have to think for yourself. And you have to really, sometimes you have to question your thinking, because sometimes the thinking may not be the way it's supposed to be. Because sometimes we have people who tell us things, who say things to us. And that's why we got to really dig into our culture, because in our culture, there's so much wisdom and knowledge. And if we get understanding, and that's why, for me, one of the whole program is my favorite, but I like when we do the Music is Lit, because during that time, we look into music that has written in the 60s and 70s, 80s, and 90s, and the message is still real. It's so funny because, we have discussions, and a lot of times my brother and I, we talk about male and female relationships, and my brother always says that, you got to have a friendship first before you can have a real romance. And I think about, Ron, some years ago, there was a book, and the title of the book was Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And this was 2009, and this was written by Steve Harvey. And in that book, he asked a very provocative question, a question that people are still trying to answer. And the question, Ron, he asked in the book was, how he was speaking to the women, and he was saying, how can you tell when a man loves you? And then women say, well, he did this and he did that and he said this and he said that, and Steve sort of pinned that down. He pinned that down in a section of the book called the 3 Ps, and the 3 Ps, and Steve Harvey said, if you know that a man loves you when he presents the 3 Ps to you, and the 3 Ps are, as I'm going to express now, 3 Ps, okay? The first P is profess. If a man loves you, he will profess his love to you. He will tell you he loves you. He will tell his friends and his family that he loves you, okay? He will profess his love. That's the first P. The second P is provide. He will provide for you. Whatever you need, he will provide that for you. I always tell my son, I said, if you go to a young lady's apartment and you go in there maybe to watch some TV, watch a movie and that kind of thing, and you say, you have anything to drink? And she said, yeah, go into the refrigerator. I got some soda there, I got some water there, whatnot. And you go in the refrigerator and you see in the refrigerator, well, there's a couple of bottles of Poland Spring and maybe there's a container of yogurt, and that's all. And I tell my son, I said, you take note, and the next time you go to that lady's house, that you bring some groceries, because you want to show her that, you know what, you're not a freeloader. You're not going to sit on the couch and munch your popcorn and not return. So you're going to provide for her. So if you love her, you'll provide for her. And the third thing is protect. You will keep this woman safe. And it's so funny, Ron, sometimes in my class, just to get things started and get the women worked up and get the gentlemen speaking and whatnot, I'll ask the woman, would you date a man who is shorter than you? Would you date a man who is shorter than you? And most women say it doesn't matter. Then some women say, yeah, it matters because I want a man I can look up to. And then when I go to the woman who say it doesn't matter, and interrogate them a little bit more, and they say, well, it depends on what circumstances. But the bottom line, women were telling me that they like a man who's taller than them and bigger than them because they feel protected. Okay? And so again, how can you tell if a man loves you? He will profess his love, he will provide for you, and he will protect you. And Rob, what say about you? Are the 3 Ps, is that realistic? Is that unrealistic? Is that foolish or what?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm going to say this.
Please do.
I'll say this first. With all due respect to Steve Harvey, I'm not looking at his platform or his, wealth and everything else. But to me, and let me express a reality, because when I first saw the book, it's the title that threw me off. Because I say that because there's too many women, too many sisters are going through all kind of tumultuous conditions and situations. So, for example, for me to say, think like a man, act like a woman, It's impossible. And I'm be honest with you, because if you look at a lot of women talk about how crazy that man is, and sad as it is, as trifling as a lot of men and whatnot beating up on a woman, and you want to think like him? See, so I had issue with the title. Yes, I read some, but to me, even with the 3 Ps, when you break it down, that may work for some. Respect and protect. One thing that's true, in essence, depends on how you look at it. If you have the quality of the relationship, you want to protect her.
That's right.
Yes, you want to provide for her. You want to present to her. But in the same token, she's showcasing to you that she is that lady. And let me give you a couple of pieces, because the Bible says in Proverbs 30, who can find a virtuous woman? Right. She is a virtuous woman because she's laboring, she's doing everything by her nature. Also, let me go back a little bit. In the Old Testament, Moses, people wasn't getting along then. So he put a decree together for people to get a divorce. Right? Because we ain't getting along. Something's wrong. That was back then. But in the New Testament, God said, as many know, what God has joined together, let no man put us under. So now let me piggyback off that part. What I believe in romance. Okay, getting to know, we friendship, we laugh. What do we have in common? Can you look at the birds and bees and whatnot? Can we sit on the park bench and just laugh and giggle? Do we read a book? I may not be able to read a book or whatever case, but can you tell me a story? Can you just, whatever the case may be, that's romance. I talked to this sister. I met this sister, and matter of fact, me and this other brother in the park. She goes to the park every morning. Excellent sister. And the other day we was talking whatnot, and she went on this bike ride because I think it was put together by sisters. But they was in South Jersey, right? Riding the bike, whatnot. And she wasn't trying to keep up, but she was riding her bike. And the interesting piece to that, because I ride my bike to the park, she said I was just taking my time and just looking around at the farm, the trees, the birds, the neighborhood. So that right there is a story. That is romance. That is, if you want to draw fiction out of it, that's fine. It could be a novel. But the point is she was enjoying the moment. So relationship to me is how do you enjoy the moment with each other. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. It means that if you're irritated, I'm irritated, frustrated, whatever case, but how do you soothe that calm, that roughness? Even the pastor was talking about that today, even last week. The bottom line is, do you see nature? Am I part of nature? Do you see me? Do you want to learn me? But I'm looking at you as nature because you're that flower. You are the fragrance. You are the wings beneath my heart.
Woo, look out.
See,
look out.
I'm over here all of a sudden. I'm getting stupid.
Preaching over here.
I'm telling you. So seriously, in all seriousness, there's a lot of women and a lot of brothers and sisters out here really looking for the right connection and to be able to romance each other. So my thing is not so much of the 3 Ps, is what do we have in common? And even if it's just friendship, where is the romance? And I think that's what Nathaniel Hawthorne was saying. If you cannot dream strange things, if you can't see me, regardless of how I look, but can we talk romance? And I'm not talking about the kind of romance you have to go to bed or whatnot, this, that, and the other. Whatever happens thereafter, that's between the two. But the bottom line is, what do we have in common that's going to soothe each other? Because we don't know what each other's going through. Because again, let me say this, and I don't want everybody to come, but see, a lot of brothers, a lot of men out there, to soothe that woman, you have to know how to use your hand to caress her body, to give her a body massage, to know what she needs without her expressing. And sisters is the exact same thing.
Oh, my
you
brother,
what I'm saying?
brother,
but anyway,
preacher.
I got to get a little carried away, but nevertheless.
Well, let me, you're being heard. Laretha Foster Bram says Steve Harvey is no expert. Kay Sweetness Jennings says it has been a man's world much too long. Dina Robinson says, yes, Terry Benjamin, you have family members and friends who give you their opinions that will hurt you instead of helping you because they want you to remain stagnant, to stay behind them. So sad. Laretha Foster Bram says, no relationship is perfect. And again, I threw that out there to generate some discussion. To again, the thing is that we gotta be able to talk back and forth to each other and not get offended because this is our opinion. We have to come together with our opinion through our conversation. But again, and the bottom line is that like my brother said, we have to communicate. And sometimes what you want to say, you can't say it like this brother here. This brother got a silver tongue. So you can't say it like he says, but maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a song. Maybe there's a song that expresses what you feel. And I want to go on to Music is Lit because I think I'm getting excited now because I think all this comes together. And what I want to do when I do the Music is Lit segment, I try to tell a story. And this story that I want to tell in 3 songs. And it goes from discovering that special person, and then it goes to courtship, and then it goes to marriage. And I know marriages are not perfect, and sometimes marriages don't last. I don't think anybody gets married and said, well, you know what, in 10, 20, 30 years or whatnot, we'll get a divorce and go our separate ways. I don't think it starts like that. But the thing that sets it off, the spark, is finding that person that's one in a million. And so the first song that I'd like to share with you is from Larry Graham, and this is 1980. And this is a title, One in a Million You. This is a classic. And so again, let's say this is, if love and romance can be seen in 3 acts, this is the first act. Act 1, One in a Million You, Larry Graham, recognizing that person. And he says here, love has played his game on me so long, I started to believe I'd never find anyone. Doubt had tried to convince me to give in, said you can't win. But one day the sun came shining through, the rain had stopped, and the skies were blue. And oh, what a revelation to see. Someone was saying, I love you to me. A 1 in a million chance of a lifetime. And life showed compassion and sent to me a stroke of love called you. 1 in a million you. I was a lonely man with empty arms to fill. Then I found a piece of happiness to call my own. And life is worth living again, for to love you to me is to live. A 1 in a million chance of a lifetime. And life showed compassion and sent to me a stroke of love called you. A 1 in a million you. A 1 in a million chance of a lifetime. And life showed compassion and sent to me a stroke of love called you. 1 in a million you. A 1 in a million you. And I go to our community, and Laretha Foster Bram says, speak from the heart is the best communication. Gina Robinson says, oh yes, I remember this song so well. Simply beautiful. And I want to go on, since I got your attention here. This is, again, a song that is special to me because one of the people who made the song is no longer with us. And I was, of course, referring to the Whispers. And this song here, and when I was reading this song, Ron, I thought about you, and I thought about what you were saying about friendship and how friendship has to grow before we have romance. And this song is called Let's Go All the Way from the Whispers, 1978. And it says here, all the way. Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. Don't be afraid. Let's go all the way. All the way. Let's go all the way. Don't be afraid. Let's go all the way. I like the way you make love to my mind. The things you say are always right on time. You brighten up my day with your sunshine. Now I feel the friendship growing. Each day is growing and growing. I can't wait till we be going to love land. All the way. All the way. Let's go all the way. Don't ever be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just trust in me. Let's go all the way. Won't you take my hand all the way? Because I know that I love you, girl. Let's go all the way. And you know that I need you. Don't be afraid. All we need is each other. Let's go all the way. Let's take a drive to Santa Monica. You bring the wine and I'll bring my guitar. Lay on the beach and look up at the stars. Now I feel the friendship growing, is growing and growing and growing all the way, baby, to love land. Come on. You have a special kind of sex appeal. I just can't find the words to say how I feel. I know my love is real. Now I feel the friendship growing, is growing and growing and growing. Can't wait till we'll be going to love land all the way. Said I want you, said I need you, gotta have you. Gonna get you. Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. All the way, girl. Come on. Don't be afraid. I really, really love you, girl. Let's go all the way. I want to make love to you, baby. Let's go all the way. And I like when he talks about friendship. The friendship is growing and is moving towards something real. And the last part of this this little trilogy that I put together is the culmination of this romancing. And Dina Robinson says, "Wow, so romantic." Yeah, it is. And again, and understand, ladies, men love romance too. Okay, it's not just a one-way street. It is back and forth. And Aretha Foster Bram said, "I saw the Whispers at the Rich Theater in Elizabeth, and received a rose from Scotty. That's a special moment." Kay Sweetness Jennings says, "What is all the way? Is it sex or marriage?" Well, I think, let me read this next song. And this is also from the Whispers. "I'm going to make you my wife." And this is from 1977. And again, this might be the destination here. And it says, and I read, "I'm going to make you my wife because you're my everything. All my hopes and dreams come true. I can live my life with you. I'm going to buy some rings, and everywhere you go, everyone will know that it's real what you make me feel. Until there's no more of me, I will try to make you see that I will be my all in all. From here to eternally, we'll have a child and watch it grow. Cross my heart and hope to die. If I ever make you cry, may I feel the pain that you feel inside. Take the blame if our love should die. I'm going to make you my world. You're my morning light, the star at night, or the air I breathe. Cross my heart and hope to die. If I ever make you cry, may I feel the pain that you feel inside. And may I take the pain if our love should die. I'm going to make you my song. You'll be my symphony, my rhapsody, my rhyme. You'll be my melody, my harmony, my chime. You'll be the air I breathe, the birds and bees, my wife. I'm going to make you my wife. And our community says here, Kay Sweetness Jennings says, what is all the way? Is it sex or marriage? Dina Robinson said it could be both. And Kay Sweetness says that question is for McCrae. What is all the way? Is it sex or marriage, Mr. McCrae? Put my brother on the spot. But he's up to the challenge, Kay Sweetness Jennings. You asked, what is all the way? Is it sex or is it marriage? And he's going to answer that question because he's a good man.
It's interesting because what you were just reading with the Whispers. And here's where the in-tune listening, male or female, when somebody's really sincere, is not to reject if he is real or not, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. Look at the mannerism.
Yes, sir.
There's so much in music for lit. It's so important to listen to the lyrics of it. Even the OJ said, we cried together.
Yes.
You see, all the way. But one has to know if a person regrets what they have done or whatever the case may be, but they are sincere in reference taking you all the way to romance you on the clouds of freedom. Where the heavens and the stars all dance all around you. Say, here they come. Where you can showcase and tell the world all around you, this is my man, this is my woman. Absolutely. Yes, you can call the way. And we also have songs like, for example, Temptation. Please return your love to me.
Yes, please.
And here's one I'm be honest with. I like this one too. It always touches me. The one by David Ruffin, you know, As I Walk This Land, A Broken Heart. You know, you heard that one. I don't remember all the lyrics. This one just hit me just now. You know, but happiness is just an illusion, filled with sadness and confusion.
Yes.
Look that one up. But to come back to my brother, when he was just reading the one, I also said this.
Yes.
In my book.
Poetically speaking, please.
Let's take a ride.
Ooh.
Smooth sailing along the parkway, the highway passes the water streams until we inhale the breath of life. And society in a cooperating moment while staring at the sky. Let's take a ride to soothe our mind. Deep passion, sipping on a tea leaf drink, whispering a conversation like birds of the air as the winds wraps around while consumed by the lack of our awareness. Freedom implies that we are far away in a land beyond our reach. Let's take a ride and evade the past for tomorrow's sounds. Sounds of soft music, easy listening as the fowls of the air soar high, joking and laughing about nothing, soothing across the countryside on a road that leads to nowhere. Where did I come from? It's not my business. To know where I'm going is my freedom. To know where I'm at is to choose how I feel. Feeling vulnerable in the space and time that consumes my emotions. Flirting with myself without the loneliness, emptiness, guilt, or isolation that bounds my choice to scream aloud. I feel good, so let's take a ride. I seesaw through the mountain shades, through the valleys around the bends, howling with joy. My therapeutic moment allowed my existentialism to identify my whereabouts without the sounds of any noise. Where do I go? The shades of darkness cover me as we travel in the valleys of my journey, through the twists and turns, in and out of a cabin without knowing where it leads. Moving high, feeling good, no destination, no pain, no restriction, only to find the sun shining right where we stood. Let's take a ride and soar through our magical dreams. Let's take a ride as the sun sets and the moon rises. Let's take a ride with my lover and me. Let's take a ride. So you want to know how far you can go? Where we should go? Huh, sweetheart?
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about the discussion that we're having now, again, sex or marriage. Sex and marriage, as Dina said, it could be both. But I think, again, before we can get to sex or the marriage, like my brother said in his poem, let's take a ride. Let's talk this thing out. I don't even want to have sex with you unless we have a conversation first. And those who are of a mature age, we don't have the time to mess around. I mean, when I was in my 20s, I can go down one road 10, 20 years and come back and go down another road. In my mature years, I don't know if I have that time. I don't have time to go down 5 years and come back and go down another road because, you know, in that 5 years, I might not be around. And so the conversation is so important. And hopefully the conversation is a mature conversation. When I say mature, if you've been here 50, 60, 70 years, you've had some experiences, you may have some baggage, you may need some therapy, you might have something that you need to discuss before we can go further, and that's okay. And we might find that you are not my cup of tea, I'm not your cup of tea, that's okay. But again, we have to have an honest and open conversation. Let's take a ride.
And you know, along that's where, and I'm going to give you from my own honest view.
Please.
Because when I write, I try to write from the reality of so many's fantasy, but there's a reality. Make sure you cover your kids' ears.
Send the kids out the room. This is a mature talk right here. Yeah.
You know, in all honesty, as it was just mentioned, you know, good sex, great sex comes with the joy of how do we embrace each other in the moment of a conversation, the thrill that we experience on a ride down the shore, on a bike ride. See, sex, great sex comes, it's like the dessert. But the thrill, the excitement, and the rise of the cue comes with the excitement that you spend with somebody that you really enjoy that moment with. We had a great day, we had a great time, and that's where the love of romance really come into play, to say, hey, and it's just a natural flow. It's not an organized, it's not a schedule. There's no such thing as you can schedule time to spend together. No, it's a natural flow. That's where the real enjoyment of a relationship, the real enjoyment of romance, and the quality of good sex comes with all of that. That's what makes it different. Unfortunately, too many people are just like a bad engine need a tune-up. You out of sync. You can't figure out why something ain't working right. Well, guess what? Check yourself and make sure you're in line, and make sure that the person you're in line with is getting a good charge. You see, a battery can't be charged if it's a dead battery, a bad wire. But the bottom line is, in all jokes aside, all that makes a connection, and like you were saying, all that ties in together. And that's what's important.
Yeah, and it's important that you get good information. Like Laretha said, Steve Harvey is no expert, and the thing is that sometimes there's ideas thrown out there because look at the history of this particular book. Okay, this book was actually produced and released in 2009, and the title was "Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man." And then they had a movie in 2012 called Think Like a Man. And then they had a sequel to that movie in 2014, Think Like a Man 2, T-O-O. And my point, and listen carefully when I say this, okay? The book, the two movies, there was so much information, bad information, terrible information, toxic information, but when you have something like that, we need to have a full-fledged discussion, because when that book came out, there was a lot of discussion, and then the powers that be said, oh, maybe let's make a good movie. So they had movie 1 and they had movie 2, and again, there was maybe a little good information there, but a lot of it was not so good. But again, they say always it's in the eye of the beholder. But what I'm suggesting is simply this, that we begin to sit down and dialogue about what's being put out there as entertainment, because so many of it is things that from one person's mind, and it's okay, whether it be from the mind of Tyler Perry or anybody else. This is from their particular mind. Again, I don't know if we need to debate every entertainment. I don't think that's the case, but we have to understand that everything that's out there is not good information, and we need to evaluate that, but we have to have some kind of a standard. And I think the standard comes from our critical thinking, but our critical thinking not based on our emotions or our feelings, but based on our research and based on solid conversation. Kay Sweetness Jennings says, thinking like a man comes in different seasons. Thinking like a 30-year-old are different thoughts of a 70-year-old. And that is so true, because what I want at 20, 30, or 40 is not what I want at 50 and 60, and definitely not what I want at 70. Like Kay Sweetness Jennings says, there's different seasons, and I'm in the point in my life, in my 70s, I want a well-seasoned woman. I don't need a young girl or a young lady. It may tickle my ego, but what I need is, as a mature man, I need a mature woman. And as you go into your 60s and 70s, the world looks a lot different, and you have to make adjustments. We can't use the same thoughts and thinking that we did at 30 than at 70. And this is a conversation that can go on and on and on, because, again, there are things that I wish I knew at 20 and 30 and 40 that would help me a whole lot in my 70s. A lot of things, you have to understand, a lot of information that we've been given, we have to unlearn that to go to the next level.
And you're absolutely correct. One of the most important things, and matter of fact, I think I shared it, but if I didn't, I just want to say this in short.
Yeah.
And see, and I'll use me as an example. I go back when I was, I think, 16 or 17. And there was this young lady I liked. I thought she was really, really nice. I was so attracted to her. So I asked her out to the movies, right? Go to New York and go to a movie. She said, how we going to get there? I said, by bus. She said, I ain't riding no bus. You don't have no car. So I made up my mind then, because all of this really comes with a self-examination. Who are you with inside? Not what you expect that somebody else is supposed to be for you or to you or make you happy, but who are you?
That's right.
You see, that's the whole thing what we talk about. We laugh and joke whatnot, but all of this ties into who are you first. Then you line up with like-minded people, maturity. Because you may not be that connected, but can we laugh? Can we have a conversation? Can we be friends?
That's right, yeah.
And see, from there, you see, what do we have in common that would take us to a next level? And so I always made it my business. I'm not here to showboat or showcase anything. I'm not going to get dressed up to make you like me. Because if you don't like me, if I'm in my dungarees and my pajamas and I'm looking like I was a mechanic under a tree, then don't come running to me if I dress up and this and that. Yeah. And that's where too many brothers and sisters, men and women, make that mistake. And as you said earlier, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
That's right.
You can come out here look like your curls in your head and everything else, but you can be the sweetest person on the inside. And what really makes the difference, and when you get yourself together, and I say, damn, what the heck?
Whoa.
You look good, woman.
You
Because
clean up well. Clean up well.
But I learned to appreciate in your natural state. I think that's where the quality of knowing who you are and who you're going to engage yourself with, whether it's just friendship, but it's the expected, unexpected. Is how do you tune yourself into that person? I like his or her conversation. We had a good time. And I'm not talking about sitting around while somebody complains all the time, because bad baggage gets stuck on, you get stuck with bad baggage.
That's right. That's right.
The bottom line is why you carrying that bad stuff all around. All that's important. Who are you on the inside? And if you're looking for something quality, you have to make sure you've done some house cleaning within inside yourself. Mind, body, spirit, and emotional state.
That's right.
Are you a clean house? And I don't mean clean, and I'm not being insulted, but I'm talking about your spirit, your mindset, to have a conversation. And that's what's important. It starts with you. Like-mindedness, maturity. So really, in my opinion, age only play a part. It's the level of how you think, your knowledge, your wisdom that you can share, and we can have a conversation. Because I can meet an 18 or 20-year-old. I'm not saying I'm looking for one. I'm just saying I can meet one, and we can have a great conversation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. Well, you can meet an 80, 90-year-old person. Great conversation. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and the thing is that you have to understand is that the conversation sets the tone for everything else. And like my brother said, when you deal with a man and a woman, everybody has their good days, everybody has their bad days, but through your thinking, and so we say think and grow rich, but I would say think and be happy, because again, you have to know what you really, really want, not say what you think people think you should say, not to sort of mimic what is the popular thinking. You have to have a man with 6 figures. Okay, you have to have a house instead of an apartment. You have to have this car or that car. Ron, we get to the point now where you talk to a woman, and then you pull out a cricket phone. She said, "Why don't you have an iPhone?" So I'm saying to you in the discussion, again, we say, take back your mind. Take back your mind. Take back your mind and connect it to your core values. What do you really want in a man? What do you really want in a woman? We always say that women want quality men. There's nothing wrong with that. But are you a quality woman? Okay? Can you really rise up to the expectation of that man, and can he rise up to the expectations that you have? Because at this time in our life, especially when you get in your 60s, 70s, especially the 70s, at this time, you should know who you are, and you should know who you want. And when I say that, is that we've had time for trial and error to try this and to try that and whatnot. At this particular time in our lives, we should know. We should know. We should be able to accept the good, the bad, the ugly about ourselves, and not put everything out on the table to the first date, but let people know what we really want. And then sometimes we have to interrogate ourselves, because sometimes for many men, and myself included, is that sometimes someone asks me a question and I'll just go on autopilot. and I'll say what I think that they want me to say, not realizing that sometimes you need to pause. You need to think before you speak. Okay? And again, we're about out of time, but maybe this is a question that we should maybe spend some more time with it. And so, Ron, I see we have maybe about 5 minutes or so. So again, as always, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for getting this discussion going. I really enjoyed it. I like debate.
And that's what's important. And let me take 30 seconds on this part. There's two things. One, words and whatnot, everybody use words their own different way. I look at this, it's not a want, but your desires of your heart. Your heart speaks to you. What is it quibbling in that language is shaking? What is it that you desire? Also, here's something else, and I want to leave you with this, that I've been hearing so long and so often over the years, and it's so crucial to understand. To all those sisters who's talking about, I'm looking for Boaz. And I'm going to say this. Read the story. Understand the story.
Yes,
That's what's important. Don't look for somebody who got money, who all this and that, and which, because guess what? Ask all those who caught hell with somebody who was controlling them, and we talking about some famous people.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's really about the desires of your heart.
Right. And the thing is that, understand this, the things that we talked about tonight is from my opinion, his opinion, from her opinion, and there's nothing definitive about that. It's dialogue, it's conversation, and hopefully we can come to some kind of consensus. Again, going back to what started this whole debate is, how do you know when a man loves you? Steve Harvey says it's the 3 P's. I say, know who you are, so you know who he is. Ron said romance first. Then from that, other things can develop. But again, it goes back to your mind, to your mindset. What are you really thinking? And how is that affecting your actions? Again, the best advice that I've ever got in my life is think before you speak. Because sometimes you say something, you can't take that back. So, Rob, what say you? Let's get out of here. Say something.
Truly, just in short, I would say the average, and I say the average because many of us, male or female, looking for love, looking for romance, looking for the desires of the heart.
Yes.
Make my heart tremble even when I'm not around, but I'm thinking about you. It's like I can feel you right now. I don't care if you're in California, wherever. Right. I can feel you. I don't know who you are, but the point is to feel the romance, the vibe. Can I meet you someplace and we can float on the mountainside, around the valleys and wherever? That's but right. Don't get me started now.
Because again, we started Music is Lit was talking about 1 in a million, okay? If you find that 1 in a million, and many of us have thought what we found was 1 in a million, and maybe let me just say this. At that time in your life, in that season, that was the 1 in a million. That was the person for you. But as it was expressed in the comments, we go through different seasons. Maybe the question, Ron, and maybe we look at this maybe sometime later, is what season are you in?
That's the question. Absolutely. Your season, time and season. And it starts with your mind, your spirit, your heart. What kind of conversation are you having that you can share with us, that we can have a dialogue? We may have some answers. We may have some solution. We may not have everything, but it's all about lifting someone else up, helping each other, because you never know.
You never know. And this has been Poetically Speaking, the place for the spoken word with Ronald C. McCray and Terry Benjamin and you. And so we look forward to engaging with you the next program. We're here Thursdays and Sundays. And please, if you haven't, press that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the programs, any of your programs, because we're really looking to you for some really good answers. So again, From me and my brother, we say good night, and we hope to see you soon.